Hey, everybody. I've been playing around with AI technology, and I'm taking a look at 5 different sources or tools that we can use in AI. One of those was recommended to me by somebody else that I've never really heard of or taken a look at. And to my surprise, ooh, wow, baby, that one was pretty good. Are we ready for this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, this is dedicated to really creatively thinking out of the box in photography and as a photo artist. With that out of the way, let's jump into our program, and that is AI. And in the future, I'll talk about more about AI as to what it's affecting in industries and how it's affecting photography and different careers in photography. But I was asked to compare different AI technologies and tools, and I decided, okay, I'm going to use the same prompt, but I'm just not going to use a small prompt. I'm going to do a really heavy set prompt and see what these tools can do. So we're going to cover what's built into Photoshop as one. We're going to take a look at Adobe Firefly to see what it will do with the same prompt. We'll take a look at Alpaca, which I had mentioned a few weeks ago. I'll put the links to all these in the show notes a little bit later. And so that's the third one. The fourth one is going to be one that I was really surprised about, and that was Copilot. We're going to take a look at that one. And then, of course, everybody's heard of Mid-Journey. And there's other ones out there, but I was just curious as to these 5. And I'll share with you how I'm starting to use AI in my workflow with client and just also fun stuff. So let's jump into our program. By the way, if you could do me a favor, and that is, please like this video. It helps with the algorithm with Photoshop. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed, and also hit that notification bell. The next time I upload a video, you'll get notified on that. Okay, so let's start out with, well, I don't know even how to write a prompt and what to do. So I'm going to recommend a website that you can go through. I'll give you a link in the show notes. There's a whole bunch of free really some high-end strong prompts that you could use in AI. And you're going to find that some can handle the prompts and others cannot. We'll discover that right now. But let's take a look at what I would recommend you do. And that is when you go to these sources, and one, I'll give you the link. It's called Sevenstyles. It'll be in the show notes. And there's a bunch of free things. But here's what I'm going to recommend. If I can go over here to, let's see, you open up a word processor of your choice. I'm using Microsoft Word here. And what I recommend is that when you find prompts or you create your own prompts, you want to highlight, copy, and paste it into a Word document. Save it as AI prompts, whatever, and maybe categorize it. So an example, I have one here that's called Street Photography, and it's a collection of different prompts that I pasted in here. So if I want to go back and use these or modify these, I can use it. And I'm not limited to that. I have a category here called the horror for the Halloween time and stuff to do different things. And where you'll find a lot of these prompts, and again, you can edit and change them, is at Sevenstyles. I will have it in the show notes so you guys can copy and go to the website. It's all free. I have no affiliation with Sevenstyles. I use their stuff. I really like the person who put this information together. So that's a little tip. When you find prompts or you create your own prompts and you're getting good results, you're probably not going to remember that prompt if you want to use it in the future. I would say build a database of yourself in the word processor of your choice. That way you can easily open it up, copy, and paste it in to the different AI tools. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to close that out. And we're going to start out with what's built into Photoshop first. So let me open up Photoshop. And I just have a blank document. That's what you would start with in Photoshop. So this is the first thing we do. And number one is we go over here in our toolbox and choose, in this example, the rectangle selection tool. And I'm just going to, when I click on that, I'm going to click and drag to highlight this blank document in Photoshop. And this will open up the generative fill feature that we have built into the program. Now, if you don't see that, just make sure you go to Windows drop-down menu, and toward the bottom, you'll see contextual task bar. and that will activate this bar so you can actually activate the generative fill feature. Now, what happened is, I'm not going to run this because it takes a few seconds or so, 15 seconds. We're just going to be sitting here. The point is, the prompt that I use that I'll share with you that has to do with street photography, I couldn't make it work in generative fill. When I chose this, copied and pasted that script in there, it just kicked back nothing. And so I went in there and I tried to alter, take things out, try to figure things out why it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. It wasn't kicking back anything at all. If I just typed in a simple prompt, it worked, but it's just like, no, I want this heavyweight prompt. And so I just found that right now, generative fill cannot handle that. It doesn't mean it won't handle it in the future, but as of right now, toward the end of 2023, I'm just not getting any results at all. So the next thing I did was, since I'm here, I chose to use the plugin I talked about a few weeks ago, and that was the Alpaca, I think that's the way you pronounce it, plugin. And same thing, when you highlight the area, you just come down here, put in the prompt right here, and it worked. And so I was really surprised. By the way, just to point out, the prompt goes in there. And I was really surprised. It kicked back some really cool things. And I think it gives you up to 4 different images to choose from. So what I did was, I did not want to regenerate. And I'll show you the results. I just picked the best one I thought out of the 4 I created, or 3. I can never remember, because some will do 3, some will do 4. And I just didn't want to regenerate again to see if I could come up with something better. I just took first generation, the first pick out of the box. And so I was surprised it worked pretty well. And I'll show you the results of that in a few minutes. Then the next thing I did was, I didn't use Photoshop at all. I went to Adobe and went to Adobe Firefly. Now, what I understand is, to use Adobe Firefly, you have to be an owner of one of their products in the Creative Suite. So like I have Photoshop, obviously the subscription to it, it qualifies me to go in there and use it. And I found that it couldn't handle that heavy script. So I had to guess at taking certain statements out of that script. And then I finally got it to work, but it wasn't the full script. It was maybe about, I would say, 80% of the script. So again, not quite there to handle the heavy stuff, but it did, handle some, 80% of that heavyweight script. But again, 6 months from now, it might handle the whole script. So, but I found that the Adobe Firefly does a far better job than the generative fill that we have built into the Photoshop program. It's debatable whether it does a better job or not with the Alpaca plugin, and that's very subjective. But not a bad choice to use, and that's called Firefly. Now, the number 3 spot that's number 3. Number 4 spot was Copilot, and I didn't even, wasn't even aware of this. And but I think it's only a Microsoft thing. I don't know if you have to be on the Microsoft Windows side or whatever. I don't know if there's a Mac version. That's what I'm trying to say. But I have Windows 11 here. If we take a look at the toolbar at the very bottom, there's a little icon button right there, and I do have the current update on the Windows 11 operating system. It says Copilot Preview. So when I click on this, it opens up this interface, and this is where you can ask questions, you can write scripts and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know it could create images, and goes beyond that. By the way, I'm not here to promote Microsoft stuff and that, but this is where you put the prompt. And it handled that large prompt that I used for street photography, and it kicked back some awesome stuff. And again, I just did it one time. It actually created 4 different images. I just picked out the one that I liked the best, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. And then the very last one was Midjourney. And Midjourney, I think everybody knows about, but I was surprised about Copilot. Now, I did find out with some investigation that in Copilot, it has an affiliation with Dolly, I think it's version 3. Now, Dolly is a competitor to Midjourney. I don't know if Microsoft is just partnered with them, if they own Dolly outright, or they, I don't know, have controlling interest in it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. I could care less. I just know that it's using the DALL-E engine, and that will improve over time also because it's a major competitor to Mid-Journey. But I also discovered, and again, I'm not a expert in Microsoft like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and that, but I saw a presentation on what Copilot actually does with data and information, how it integrates with the Office suite. So things I saw them doing with data and information that Copilot can do automatically in Excel and stuff just freaked me out. So this is a game changer, not only on creating images, but this has to do with data and other stuff that goes into the Office suite with, again, databases and Excel spreadsheets, even PowerPoint presentation and Word documents. It just blew my mind when I saw the presentation by Microsoft and to what this can actually do as a technology. So people, things are changing fast, but we're here for photography, creative stuff. So I plugged in that, kicked back some awesome stuff for me. And then the last one is Mid-Journey. And you have to be a Discord member to do that. A lot of people don't like that. It's a bit confusing. I get it. But I found that Copilot, as a surprise, it just worked so easily for me. So let's take a look at the results of that long script. And in fact, you know what? Let's go back here. And I need to go back to open up the script here just to show you in the Word document. Let's open that up. And this is the script that I used, the very first prompt here. And I found that a lot of this I had to, in Firefly, I had to take out like Saul Leiter, who was a well-known street photographer. I had to take out, I think, I had to take out Olympus camera right here. And one other thing I had to take out, and then it finally worked in Firefly. I didn't have to take anything out in Copilot or Mid-Journey. And Alpaca, it worked. So just be aware that depending on the prompts and how sophisticated they are, they may or may not work in these different AI tools. But again, in the future, things will improve. Okay, so let's take a look at actual images that came out. So the very first one is embarrassing to show. Hey, that was Photoshop. That's what Photoshop did for me. I just gave up on that script. It couldn't handle it. I was taking out stuff and I was getting nothing back in return. So that is generative fill, the very first thing I talked about. So, good luck on that one. So hopefully in the future, it can handle better, higher end scripts. But as of right now, it wasn't giving me anything back. And I was deleting stuff off the script. And still, I just got to a point where I gave up. Okay, the next one was Alpaca, and this is what I got. And not bad. I mean, this, it was... Now, again, everybody's crying about, but they're low-res images. Hang on to that thought. Okay, but I thought it did a great job. This was the one I picked, first one out of the gates. And the other thing about these tools that will create stuff, for me, when I do a lot of creative things and backgrounds, I think the way it's going to affect me is I probably won't go out and buy background images anymore. I'm letting AI create it based on my needs, picking what I want, and then I'll build on them. I can modify that in Photoshop and build on that. I'll share some of that with you in a few minutes. But that's what Alpaca did. It did a great job right there. Then the next one is Adobe Firefly. Now, Adobe Firefly, it couldn't give me the mood I wanted. I had to take out stuff about the fog in the foreground, get rid of the camera information, L Lighter, I can't remember the name. I apologize, the street photographer, and then I finally got it to kick back some stuff. So, but what it kicked back wasn't really bad. It was just disappointing. It couldn't take the full script. And then the next one, which was my biggest surprise, and that was Copilot. I could not make up my mind on the 4 images it created for me. So I just chose this one randomly, but they were like, wow, they were really, really good. Mid-Journey, same thing. This is just the one I picked. And again, the last two I'm showing you, I think did the best job. Alpaca would be maybe, the second best out of the other two, because I would say Mid-Journey and Copilot, which is really DALL-E, is pretty darn close to each other right there. So it's like a flip of the coin on that one. And Alpaca did a decent job, but Firefly, you're limited. And then again, Photoshop, you are really, really limited to what you can do. Now, let's take a look at some artwork I've been creating in AI, and these are going to be large black and white prints I'm actually going to have in my hallway. And this is one of a city scene, and it came out really awesome. I was having trouble on figuring out which one I wanted, and I did a little minor tweaks in Photoshop to my taste, my liking. And then that is I believe a 13 meg file. Ooh, what? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. It's really a low res, but that is right now what you are looking at is a 13 meg file. This one, I believe, is a 16 meg file. And how is that so big? Well, I increased it 4 times by using a plugin to upscale. You can find these, third-party plugins. I used Luminar Neo with a plugin to upscale, and I did it 4 times because the image was very small, low res. I'm telling you, this is just incredible. If I go 1-to-1, this is just detail in there is just phenomenal. And this is more of artwork now, not so much of a photographic. It still has a photographic look and feel to it, but it has more of an artistic look. I'm really excited about creating some unique pieces and stuff. Now, I had mentioned a few weeks ago that I was at a Halloween shoot at a studio, and I did about 20 or 21 composites. And let's get back to, it was just a plain background, shot them, cut them out. And some of the backgrounds I actually owned, I had bought years ago, collected, I've got over 1,000 background images I can use for compositing. But I pushed myself out of my comfort zone and go, no, let's do a handful of those with AI backgrounds and see what we can do based on the outfit that the person had. And so this one, as a witch or whatever, but that background was AI generated, but I had some overlays with pumpkins I dropped in there to add to this. So I did modify it, which is great because it gave me a starting point, gave me 80, 90% what I wanted, and I went into Photoshop and adjusted it based on my personal preference for that. This one, again, same thing, AI generated with the pirate scene, the background, and it's just like, I didn't have anything that was compelling to use, but AI created some really cool stuff, and I opened up in Photoshop and modified it a little bit. So it gave me about 90% what I want. I didn't like the moon it gave me, so I actually put in my own moon right there and a few other things and modified the color tones and background a little bit to work with her. But that's an example of where AI can save me a lot of time, create some very compelling backgrounds to use in my projects. Now, I know this isn't going to be right for everybody, and some people are going to be freak out that I get paid big bucks to create, this stuff, this artwork and that. And now, AI is virtually doing it for like literally nothing and that. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Get over it. Either embrace the technology and run with it, or be a whiner and be left behind. The point is this: AI is here to stay. AI is going to get better and better as we move forward. I'm not a video person, but when I'm seeing what Hollywood is doing and other people on their home computers generating AI video clips is blowing me away. I cannot believe what can be done with that. So it's getting to a point where, is this real or not? I mean, that could cause some problems in the future. But anyhow, if you learned something, and by the way, just a quick reminder, my email address is here at the very bottom of the screen. So if you have any questions or suggestions on future things I should talk about, please feel free to email me at stephenphotoartist@gmail.com. The other thing is just a quick reminder, please like this video. It helps with the algorithm to push it out to other people. So again, like the video, subscribe if you have not, hit that notification bell. That way you'll get notified the next time I upload a video. And then I'm going to end this the same way I always do. And that is, think creatively out of the box, literally think out of the box. Come on, get some free prompts out there, experiment with AI and see how things go. Are you ready? Let's do it. Till next time, see ya.